Namaste, I'm JVWU Dr. Sapna Galod and my session is on diplomacy, and here we're going to discuss about the techniques, functions and role of diplomacy. Techniques of diplomacy. When it comes to techniques, we can say the first one is the persuasion, then it is the compromise and the threat of use of force, the next adjustment. Okay, after this we discuss about the devices of diplomacy. The first is the persuasion, the rewards any particular international dispute or issue or problem, then it the promise of reward and the concession, threat of use of power like the ultimatum, symbolic boycott, protest, walkouts or even threat of war etc. for securing its objectives. Diplomacy can inflict non-violent punishment on other nation by using pressure tactics. Diplomacy also uses propaganda, culture links, exploitation of situations, rigidity or flexibility in negotiation, etc. Now come to the functions and role of diplomacy. The first is the ceremonial symbolic function. The diplomats of a nations are the symbolic. They are the diplomats of a nation, are the symbolic representatives of the state, and they represent their state and government in all official ceremonies and functions as well as in non-official social and cultural functions held in the place of their postings. The second is the representatives. A diplomat formally represents his country in a foreign state. He is the normal agent of communication between his home office and that of the state to which he is accredited. His representation is legal and political. He is totally bound by the direction of his home office and the foreign policy of the nation. The third is the negotiations. To conduct negotiation with other state is a substantive functions of diplomacy. They are the channel of communication which handle the transmission of message between the foreign ministries of the parent state and the host state. It is mainly through the negotiation that a diplomat seeks to secure agreements and compromises over various conflictual issues and problems among states. The next is reporting. Reporting involves observation of the political, economic, military and social conditions of the host country and the accurate transmission of the findings of the diplomat to his home country. The political supporting involves a report about the assessment of the roles of various political parties in the politics of the host country. Economic reporting involves sending of reports to the home office of containing general information about the economic health and trade potential of the host country. Thus, reporting is important. You can say it's a very important and valuable functions of diplomacy. Now, protection of interest. Diplomacy is always at work for protecting and promoting the interest of the nation and the people living abroad. It works to secure compatibility out of incompatibility through accommodation, reconciliation and goodwill. It is a responsibility to protect the person, property and interest of the citizens of his country as a living in the territory of the state which is stand posted. Now the next tendency is the making policies. These days diplomats also provide advice to makers of foreign policy and occasionally take significant policy decisions themselves. The next is the substantive functions. There are the both substantive and procedural you can say being they are the both like जैसे substantive functions के साथ साथ भी है तो जो procedural aspects भी हैं functions के of diplomacy के, and the 5 substantive functions in diplomacy के. The first is the conflict management, second है problem solving है, तीसरा है cross cultural interaction, चौथा है negotiation and the bargaining, and the fifth one is the program management. In order to perform these substantive functions, the diplomat was certain procedural arts and craft such as the refinement of the protocol, diplomatic drafting, press relations. Though all these functions, diplomacy plays an important role in international relations.